drugs so much in news. Wondering what are these drugs that social media and print media is discussing so much about. Hello everyone. Welcome to Fitter Body Leads to Fitter Mind and Happy You. I am Dr. Rashmi. In this video, we will understand what is addiction, what happens when you get addicted, what are the reasons one gets into addiction, how can we prevent addiction. So let's understand what is addiction. In a simple word, when you can stop, you don't want to. And when you want to stop, you cannot. And that's addiction for you. So an addiction is an urge to do something that is hard to control or stop. If you use cigarettes, alcohol, or drugs like marijuana, cocaine, heroin, you could become addicted to them. They can really hurt you and could even kill you. Addiction is more like a family disease. One person may use, but the whole family suffers. So what actually happens when the person gets addicted? Addiction involves craving for something intensely, loss of control over its use, and continue to use it even after its adverse consequences. Addiction also changes your brain, first by subverting the way it registers the pleasure, and then by corrupting other normal drives such as learning and motivation. Let's understand what are the common reasons that people get addicted. First one is going to be peer pressure. It is the people around you or the society you are associated with or the society you network with. If one person is consuming and many more of your friends are consuming drugs, then you are forced to get into the habit of using it. With whom you associate is very, very important so that you can manage peer pressure well. Second factor would be influenced by role models of your life. See, in olden generation, role models would be someone like Mahatma Gandhi, Vivekananda, Mother Teresa, or Bhagat Singh, who fought for the country for the benefit of others. With the penetration of social media so high, the role models have been transferred from our heroes to movie stars or someone who is earning or making a lot of money in whatever profession they are. When these heroines are not responsible for their behaviors, the people who are following them gets influenced by them. The current situation is a good example of what I am talking about. Third factor is, out of curiosity, growing kids will try it. Looking at people around them, they might also think they are okay consuming it, so I am also going to be okay. I can stop it when I want to stop it. But once they try it out, that's when they realize it is not as easy as they were thinking. The fourth factor would be, if you have a gang of friends or a group of friends where most of them are doing it, and for you don't want to detach yourself or identify yourself away from that group. Just to belong to that group, you start using the drugs. Fifth factor is, forget the old sorrows, people get into addiction. The most common would be love failure, especially in teens. Sixth factor would be, when a person has low self-esteem and low confidence level, maybe he wants to escape from the reality and feel better about themselves. Seventh factor would be early exposure of the person to drugs in many times leads to addiction. Eighth factor would be history or current sexual or physical abuse on the person. Ninth factor, stress. For a person, it could be a family life stress, marital stress, financial stress, or a social stress. Tenth factor, if the person is suffering from any mental health issues, then over a period, the person can become an addict. Parental guidance can greatly affect person's likelihood of drug use and addiction. Genetic and environmental factors interact with critical developmental stage in a person's life to affect addiction risk. Let's understand how does addiction starts in the brain. Once the chemical enters the brain, it can cause people to lose control of their impulses or crave a harmful substances. When someone develops the addiction, the brain craves the reward of substance. This is due to the intense stimulation of brain's reward system. So far, you have understood what is addiction and what are the factors that influence addiction and how your brain is influencing a person who has addiction. Now, let's understand 4 C's of addiction. So, what is this 4 C's that I am talking about? The 4 C's model is a simple approach to determine if someone is dealing with addiction. This 4C model will also help us to separate addiction from neurological disorders. Experts also say that these 4Cs must be present to confirm if the person has addiction. The 4 factors are compulsion, craving, consequences, and control. And these 4Cs are very unique to addiction. The behavior most of addicts have are very similar to each other. That is the reason 4C model applies to all other types of addictions and not only to the drugs. This is why the 4 C's of addiction apply to any type of addiction, including but not limited to drugs, alcohol, gambling, video games, sex, caffeine, etc.